Hi, this is Kara, and this is DIY on the House. Today we are talking money. I know this isn't the typical DIY video or topic that we've had on our channel, but I do think that this is probably one of the most important topics when you talk about doing it yourself around the house. I, by profession, am originally a financial planner. I have a bachelor's degree in finance from Arizona State University, but what is really funny, I was thinking back, I originally applied to the college to be a home economics teacher, and now here I am doing DIY videos. But after I graduated from ASU, I did work in the investment field, and then we started having babies, and I have been a work-at-home, stay-at-home mom the whole time, and just very fortunate to have that opportunity. But during that, I spent about 10, almost 11 years teaching personal finance workshops. I traveled around the state of Arizona teaching classes. I did television regularly on the local stations on their morning shows, giving people money saving tips. And so when it came time to think through what was on my heart for the next DIY video, it was a natural progression to talk about money. One of the biggest things that we changed many years ago was switching to spending cash only. I wrote a couple books. One of them was a budgeting workbook called Spend Less, Live More. And so that is truly the message I want to get across to you guys. We didn't switch to spending cash only because we're broke, which that had a lot to do with it. We are a self-employed plumbing contractor, so if you're self-employed, you know that the income goes like this. But the main thing is we didn't want our money to go away on frivolous things. We wanted to save it for a bigger, larger purpose for our family. The motivation for us to switching to spending cash is we wanted to spend less so we could go on vacations, so we could have our horses, so we could go on cruises. We enjoy our family time. To make that happen, you have to have some restraints in part of your spending so that you can spend more on the things that you really want. So today's video, we're going to do three things. I'm going to convince you that you need to spend the cash only. I'm going to show you how to set up the cash system, and I am going to show you how to live day to day on cash only. Okay, number one. The reason you need to spend cash only is because there is a little switch in your brain. If you pull out your debit card and you swipe it, or you pull out your credit card and swipe it, the memory cells stay in the machine. You do not have recollection of how much that transaction was. Truly, you can think you do, but you don't. You might remember it for a minute, but you forget it, and you forget to add it up over time. True story, we've spent cash only for probably the last 15, 16 years. I did an experiment a few months ago. We thought, nah, we know how to spend money now. We're gonna just go to credit card and we're gonna give up the cash spending. So for about 4 months, we did credit card versus cash spending. And I am obviously telling you this because we are back to spending cash. It was a train wreck. True example, we have them divided out, which I'm going to show you in a second. We have them divided out in entertainment and eating out. You swipe your card and go out to dinner with the kids on Saturday, and then Monday you're like, I just don't feel like cooking. Let's go grab some pizza. So you go grab some pizza and you swipe your card. The kids happen to come over on Wednesday, and you're like, let's go in town. We'll treat you guys to some ice cream. Then Friday night, date night comes around. You have went out to eat 4 times, all with a swipe of the card. When we went back to spending cash, we spent cash on going out to pizza. Then Monday night, we spent cash. Comes Wednesday night, the kids come out, we make some brownies for them instead. Friday night, date night, hey, let's get a red box and we'll have a nice dinner in, and we'll watch a movie in. The difference in spending is astronomical when you do cash. Another example, we homeschooled our kids, and we were in a co-op, and I taught personal finance economics class to the high schoolers. And I said, do an experiment. Miss Kara is really hungry and I need some lunch. Bailey, will you run to the store for me? And here is $7. Grab me some things for lunch. And Ryan, here, you go to the same store, but here's my debit card, here's my PIN number, grab me something for lunch. The talking through what would have been through the thought process is astronomical. Bailey would have done the best she could with that $7 to make sure she found the best sales, to spend the best she could on that $7. Ryan had a credit card. There was nothing visual for him to have a limit. He would have just grabbed and came back. So it is truly a lifelong proof in our household on how much money you save when you spend cash only. We initially went to cash only because I had read a book by Ron Blue. He's a Christian financial advisor, and he said that you will statistically spend 30% less if you go to cash only spending. And so for us, we spend $350 every other week on our paycheck. We pull out $350 in cash. If we were to just swipe the card mathematically, according to Ron Blue, we would have spent closer to $1,000, $1,050. I am telling you, our experiment of going back and using credit card, we way surpassed spending the 33% more. The credit card bill was, it was sad. It was very depressing. So you will definitely see a difference in your bottom line when you go to cash only spending. Okay, so I have now convinced you, you have to spend cash only. Now I'm going to show you how you set it up. So when it comes down to figuring out how much you can put in your cash system, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And if you disagree with me, go ahead and put comments down below. But I'm going to go against a lot of financial advisors that I've watched over the year. They say track your spending and set up your budget accordingly. That is what gets a lot of us in trouble in the first place. We get into trouble because of what we spend. We need to live within what we can spend. So your first step is come up with a number after your fixed expenses, after your taxes, after your tithe and giving, your fixed expenses of your house payment, your car payment, your insurance. All of those, after those are out of your budget, then you have a number. That number there, you need to decide which categories are convenient and advantageous to go to cash only spending. A true example, I had initially set up one of the categories to be gas for fuel for our vehicles. And so I had it set in there, and we have done this for a long time. So we had kids in the back seat, and I would pull into the gas station, and we live in northern Arizona, so we have cold, we have rain, and I would go with my $40 and I would go stand at the window, and I'd wait and I'd wait and I'd pay my money, and I'd go back and put fuel in all the while the kids are waiting. It did no good for me. I was not making a decision of how much fuel I was going to put in because I only had $40. I knew I had to fill up the vehicle, so I would fill it up with the credit card. So that is a category there that, one, was not advantageous. It did not change my thought process on shopping and spending money. And two, it wasn't convenient. The kids were there, I'm standing in the rain, I'm standing in the freezing, just swipe, fill the car, and go. So that's a category, in our personal opinion, that did not work for cash only spending. So what we do is we have divided out in the wallet categories. We use these little file folders, and these file folders, you can get them on Amazon or you can make your own. Just cutting them according to the size of your wallet. Just get reuse a file folder, reuse a piece of cardstock, and write out your own category. We have the categories of groceries, household expenses, entertainment, and spending money. And so then we divide the money accordingly into those categories. And this is where it's a ebb and flow. You may not, one week you may go out to eat a lot, but you didn't go to the grocery store. The next week is grocery store stocking up, so you wipe out the groceries. So it goes back and forth. The big picture is these are only dividers. The whole big picture is how much money is in your wallet, and when it's gone, it's gone. Don't pull out the credit card and say, oh, well, I guess we spent our cash. It's time to pull this baby out. It doesn't work that way. Use the cash as a spending limit, and you will see incredible, incredible transformation in how you spend money and how you view money. Okay, so how do you live day to day on a cash system? We are self-employed, but we have a payroll, and we do it bi-weekly. So every other week, I give the banker a note that says this is how many 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s I want. And then I divide it into my sections. The money is in my wallet. It's not because I am the keeper of the money or anything like that. It's just I do the bookkeeping in our relationship. So maybe you don't do the bookkeeping and maybe your husband does. So then maybe you have to find a central location for your money. Just make it something that works for your household. So back to I give the banker the money, I divide it out, and then I have the denominations and I put it into each category. The problem would lie in some of the envelope systems that I actually used initially 15, 16 years ago. When you get change back, when you get coins back, what envelope do you put them in? Don't stress about the little things. Just put the coins into your coin purse or into your pocket and just put the cash back into your dividers. But then another challenge would arrive, and I think I actually gave a cashier a headache one time, or maybe even a heart attack at Walmart, because you're standing there and on the conveyor belt you have household items and you have grocery items and some items that your husband said to pick up and use my spending money for it, and you just don't even know how to divide out the money for the purchases. Again, they are dividers. These are dividers, not big block walls. You can reach over a divider and pull 5 from this one or that one, or just say, you know what, I'm not going to stress about it. This trip, all of it comes out of household. The next time, all of it comes out of groceries. Just make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid is a Navy statement many years ago. And that's the way I think. If you don't keep it simple, then you're not going to keep going on this system and you won't see the benefits. Okay, a couple of arguments that I've had over the years. And again, I taught budgeting classes for many years and traveled around and had a lot of people, I wouldn't say it challenging me, but questioning, and were really curious, does this really work? And one of them, they would always raise their hand and they say, well, I get credit card points when I use my credit card. Yes, you do. And you can still get credit card points for your fuel and for the items that you choose not to put in your cash spending. But I want to challenge you. You have to spend between $3,000 and $5,000 to get a $50 gift card to somewhere, or maybe a couple days on a rental car or a hotel somewhere. All of that is cool and you get excited for the reward, but you have spent $3,000 to $5,000 in order to get that reward. By doing the cash only system, you save, you get to pocket $300 every single month. And that $300 you can then go get the hotel of your choice or the gift card of your choice. I am a firm believer in the cash only system. And so I really, really encourage you, give it a try. Figure out how much you can spend. Don't track your spending and say, oh, this is how much I spend on coffee and this is how much I spend on clothes. Figure out how much is left over after your fixed expenses, then divide it out accordingly in cash. Find out which categories work for you, make it simple, make it effective, and make it have an advantage to the bottom line. Keep it very relaxed. Make it work for everyone. Another question that I would get is, my husband is not on board on this. It's creating tension in our relationship. That is the last thing that you want money to do. So my advice on that is you take control over one portion of your budget. You say, I get it, honey. You do not feel the same passion I do about the cash, and I know that you do the budgeting. Put me in charge of the grocery spending only, and I will spend that in cash, and I will take control of that. You don't need to be confrontational about it. Internally, you can use it as a challenge. I will take control of that, and I will cut our spending by 30%. I would have people come back to me and say, oh my lands, it worked. I showed him the results and now he's on board. He might never come on board. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you can take control over a portion of your spending. So we have it set up. We have kept it simple, and now it is just for you to enjoy having a little bit of extra money at the end of the month. So thank you so very much for joining my first video in the money series. I do have a ton of information that I am super excited to put into video. So I'm going to have a whole section on budgeting and money saving. If you have any questions, please put them down below. Hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and as always, I truly, truly appreciate you joining DIY on the House.